Hello and welcome to a Hello Middle Gamestream. I am forever and eternally your host in this world that we have created for ourselves. Hello, and my name is Luke Maudsley. Sorry about that. Today we'll be playing Sundered, which is interesting. We've already played it a bit. I have played it on the channel before, but previously it was in a kind of a beta stage, less of a kind of an unfinished kind of deal, and what we are now is in the complete game. Now I've already played it a bit. I've got about a third of the way through, which is, I think, generally good enough time to stop, take a breath, and look at what it's about. And what it's about is some actually pretty nice Metroidvania style, kind of Cthulhu mythos inspired Metroidvania action. Metroidvania used twice there at the same time. It's the kind of a kind of high level kind of games criticism that you can expect here at the Hollow Metal Hall of Heroes, because what I'm hoping that we'll eventually start calling my contributions to this channel. No word left from the editor on whether that's unbearably wanky or just bearably wanky. But anyway, this is area 1 of the game. Now there's 3 areas. This area 1, you'd be surprised to learn, is that no, I'm just fucking kidding you. It's the first. And it's a little bit empty at the moment, just because as I say, I've already cleared this area. But I'm travelling through this bit simply because area 2 is the part featured heavily in the well, not featured heavily, featured exclusively in the demo, like the beta version that I've previously played on the channel. So I thought it'd be interesting if we just come through this area a little bit, because all the areas so far have been very distinct from each other in terms of like the kind of enemies that you find there, and like the level setup as well. Like this area it's very large sections. There a brief moment of something I'll talk about later, where my character transferred into some kind of terrifying bat for a second. Yes, area 1, very large, very kind of open, I think is the word, with lots of that's the way I want to go. Lots of like long-ranged kind of enemies. Like that's something that you haven't seen in the demo, and you don't see in like the second part of the game, because this is the Valkyrie stages, and the Valkyries are I think within the canon of this game basically a kind of sci-fi excuse me, like a sci-fi kind of anti-Cthulhu-esque force. There we go. And it's their kind of interference that you're initially trying to get past. So the first areas are typically populated by mostly like human-built technological creatures gone wrong, or like things that basically have been like left and abandoned due to the machinations of these kind of elder gods. But you don't really like the final boss of this area is a gigantic kind of king in yellow figure in a chair, putting on different masks and summoning ethereal hands to come out of the extra dimensional gates and punch you to death. So that's kind of it's very straightforward, and it's Cthulhu-esque interpretation. Like it's not a Bloodborne kind of thing where it's directly like ripping off, in some cases ripping off locations and plot points wholesale from Lovecraft. It's not that close an adaptation. It's very much couched in the sci-fi the kind of sci-fi ideal, the kind of sci-fi look, and also like the way that human beings have tried to interfere with these things and been a bit dumb about it. Like it's very much lasers, and like this is a early area which is like a laboratory with a bunch of like laser traps and shit. And hello, shield piercer. Yes, there's perks. There's a perk system. There's leveling up. You collect like gems off the monsters to get more powerful, and then you can buy upgrades, because it's got a kind of a rogue legacy upgrade mechanic as well, where you can like permanently spend the stuff that you collect every time you die. It's to upgrade your guy. And something that's interesting about that they haven't done is that you keep if you leave the upgrade room, well, first of all, you can go back to the upgrade room without having to die first. So, which is something that Rogue Legacy wouldn't allow you to do, and a lot of roguelikes generally don't let you do. And then another thing is that you can leave the upgrade room with currency, and that currency doesn't get stolen from you. So there's no such thing as like a failed run. If you go out there and pick up 5 goddamn crystals, you can't spend that on anything. But also you get to keep them, and that's... I know that I'm going the wrong way. That's not something that generally roguelikes are all that keen on you doing. So it's not it's not a straightforward roguelike in a way. I mean, it really depends on how close you personally feel that aspect of roguelikes is to being the core of the experience. Like, how important is it that you can have a failed run? Because in this you can't, but in a lot of very popular games, that's absolutely a thing that you can do. You can have a failed run. You can not achieve enough for that run to have been meaningful, and you've just wasted however long, probably not very long, admittedly, if it was a failed run, but you've just wasted however much of your life you spent trying to get through that section. Another interesting thing that it does, but that, as I say, that's not something that you can get here. Another interesting thing that it does, that I was kind of, in a way, I find a little bit disappointing. This is a problem I have with this game, and it's disappointing in a way that perhaps feels like I'm the asshole. Which, I mean, I don't know what you're thinking. Like, how could you be the asshole? You're literally perfect. And I get it. Like, I'm definitely literally perfect. And if I was you, I'd probably think I was perfect too, because, you know, I'd be you, and therefore not perfect. But, oh god, that was slightly too smug for me to keep up, to be honest. Oh, look at this prick. Yeah, there's occasionally super versions of villains that you might otherwise, that you face. So, like, there's like these turret robots, and this is like a super powered version of those that gives you a perk when you beat him. And, like, all the perks I'm getting are, like, have, say, level 1 on them. So I'm presuming that you collect perks as you go, and then if you find duplicates, that perk levels up, and you get more reason to, like, deploy it. And there's only, I think there's a maximum of 3 slots. I think I have either 1 or 2 slots active at the moment. You can buy them, but they're a lot more, they're more expensive than just your general, like, +2 to shields or what have you. I mean, yes, I'm going the right way. But the perks are, like, they're an attempt to provide, like, a meaningful kind of modifier to your experience, so you can, like, so you can so you can tailor your kind of character to your playstyle. But they've all got little bonus, and they've all got little downsides. Like for the one I've got at the moment, lowers my maximum shield. No, it increases the amount of time it takes my shield to recharge, but every time I kill an enemy, I get a free 10% shield. So it's, if I raise my shield high enough, 10% becomes less damage than they would do to me when they hit me. So I can just stand there and pummel things while they pummel me back, and that, you know, can take some of the tension out of the game, but the enemies are always getting harder, and the areas have much more difficult enemies, and the bosses are more difficult than that, and obviously if you're fighting a boss, you don't kill anything, so that's a bad perk to take into a boss room, unless there's, you know, a lot of little shitty minions running about, because you won't kill anything, so you're just getting the negative. Ooh, hello. Yeah. The transforming into an evil bat thing, I will explain as well. Like, okay, because at the end of every, like, area boss, and if you defeat all 3 of the mini bosses, and you don't have to defeat all 3 of the mini bosses, some of them are necessary, but I've beaten more than one that wasn't, or at least didn't see. I don't think it was a necessary mini boss, but anyway. So saying, yes, when you defeat a boss, or... Oh, hello, idiot. Come get me. Right into that fucking bramble patch. Get your goddamn rabbit over here. Yeah, this is the second area, and I've not beaten any of the bosses from this area, and I've not been here very long. So the enemies are still, like, extremely tough compared to me. I think I can get that. Nope. No, the reason I can... Sorry, the reason, like... as you defeat mini-bosses, and the boss, you get shards of, like, Eldritch Crystal or something, I think is the idea. And if you get enough shards of magical Eldritch Crystal, you can get a full fucking... Oh, getting a weird amount of lag at the moment. This is not typical experience lag. Like, this game is historically very fucking smooth. And, like, I don't know whether that's because it doesn't have a... Yeah, there's an ability I don't have to get by there. I don't know whether that's, like, a particle effect thing, or... Like, because the whole thing is, like... I don't know if it's rotoscope, but it certainly feels, like, animated in a way, like, reminiscent of that style. It's like, it feels a lot like... Oh, was it Jotun? The one with the... I think it was Jotun. The, that game, I've played it on this channel, about a Viking lady. It was very, very cool. I'm gonna see if I can get through that, oh, fucking solid gold key, because the solid gold, like, padlocks are ability gates. So, if you want... That's an ability. Sorry, you can't see where I'm gesturing. The golden, like, heads are where abilities live, and you do get a surprisingly, like, complete map of the area, even when you haven't explored it yet, so you know, like, the general directions to go in. Because, especially in this... because the way levels are built, like, the broader areas and where things are is pretty stationary, but the details change. It's like a shifting environment. So, for example, this room is always this shape because this is like a big, like a central kind of pillar to the structure of the building. So it's always this shape and it's always here. But, like, the corridors leading up to it, like, shift and change. And in Area 1, which is the area I've come through, like the human colonized area, that's not a huge deal because things tend to be organised, like, there's not a lot of dead ends. Things tend to be structured in... It's like it's randomly assigned, but things tend to be structured in a way that gonna... am I gonna just pull in here? Okay. Things tend to be arranged in a way that means that you aren't going to get very lost. Oh, the Alcove of Grief. That sounds like a relatively lovely place to go on a first date. Yeah, so, like, in, like, the earlier areas, you're not going to find yourself down too many dead ends, and the structure is very regular. Whereas you go down here... Oh no. Oh no, I'm out of shield. Okay, kill something. Oh. That big guy is entirely capable of ending my entire life for no reason at all. Oh, nearly died. These guys are a bit tougher than the guys I've been dealing with. You can tell because they're a different colour. Yeah, eat it. Alright. Yeah, there's just a guy down there who just occasionally fires little blasts of dark magic out of his door that's into the floor. Yeah, so these areas tend to be a lot more, like, not, like, well, these areas, frankly, tend to be a lot more the kind of areas that you would expect, and you would get, like, the glimpse of from reading fucking novels about, like, H.P. Lovecraft stuff, because it's disordered, and it's irregular, and it's not designed to be understood, and it shifts and changes while you're not there. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Whereas, in the earlier, like, stages of the game, in the earlier, like, environments, like, see, what is the point of that area? And the answer is because it doesn't have one. It doesn't need to have a constant and understandable direction, because it's leading into Lovecraftian mythology, and Lovecraftian mythology is famous for resisting the fucking idea that things have to be explicable to human beings. Like, that's the core concepts of the mythology they're aping, and I like that they're aping it in a way that is, like, mechanically, it's a mechanical element of the game. It's not just, you know, here are some squiggly tentacle boys. It's It's very much a part of the geography. It's a part of the experience. It's a part of the experience that you can't get rid of without affecting the experience in a very meaningful way. Like the earlier doors even were like just traditional levers, and then you come to the darker element, and it's some kind of soul thing. It's like, and again, that's mainly set dressing. But it's set dressing that lends, like, they could have just had the one button that carries on through the game, and just explain it. Oh, like, these Valkyries were here before you. They were also trying to like figure out how to navigate, and they built all these doors in. But no, this is its own geography. This is its own situation, and in order to kind of hold with the narrative kind of construct of this whole place being a alien, a geography without care or interest in how explicable it is to human beings, they've put in its own doors, they've put in its own systems and its own little logic rules, and it's just really cool to play a roguelike where yes, the geography is random, so yes, like, yeah, there's just gonna be a thing over there that I can't get at. Oh shit, there you go, mate. Ah, fucking hell, he's an excitable man. Like, a key thing that you can do in this is understand that, like, oh shit, okay. Like, a key fucking skill for you to work on in this fucking game is this idea that you'll be attacking something will be attacking you behind, and you will have the time to just turn around and deal with it. Like, you don't have to you can't be attacking in the direction that you're being attacked from at all times, because that's just kind of how this world operates, and that's how the enemies work. But they've given you the tools to, if you're very quick, and it's difficult to do this in a 2D kind of game. Like, that kind of speed and elegance is more difficult to do, I think, than oh, they've added some steps to this, so it's more easily navigable now. Because before, you could just fall straight down it. Now it's got steps, and it's got steps, of course, because I navigated it. I beat that section of the world, and I beat that section of the world, and now it's more navigable. It's bowed a little bit to what I, as a human being, require to be able to fucking navigate it, and that's interesting. Just can't attack that guy. Some very small victory against the fucking forces of chaos, which, you know, invisible flying beasts pretty on the nose represent in a way. Oh, there's a secret right here. Oh, mint. Oh. Oh no. Yeah, no, when those noises started going off like that, you know you're in trouble, because now 100,000 crawling things are heading for me. I do like that gun. I keep dancing around this, and I keep saying I'm about to mention it and then not mentioning it, so I'm about to mention it. No, I'm not actually going to make that a self-indulgent joke. Oh shit, okay. What happens with your abilities is, like, there are certain ability shrines, and you need these abilities to navigate the world. So far, so fucking Metroidvania. But what they're doing that's interesting is that you can corrupt those abilities. When you beat a boss, when you beat all the mini-bosses in the area, there's 3 mini-bosses, and there's 3 pieces to a shard, is you have, like, these crystals of dark and fucking terrible energies. Like, these, like, fucking Elder God chunks. And what you can do with those is you can spend them to corrupt your abilities and make, like, a darker kind of, and like give in a little bit to that power and acquiesce to that power a little bit, so that your ability changes. So that's why I can turn into like a dark bat creature, and that's why my shield, when it breaks, it does like a explosion of damage around it. And you get critical hits. What do I want? Cannon damage, incoming damage. Always buy always buy upgrades to finding the resource that you spend first, because they're obviously the best. Alright, hang on. Yeah, I've got a perk. I've got an empty perk slot. Tough skin rank 2. Oh, that's rank 2 now. Shield flasks. Increase your maximum number of health elixirs by 2. Transforms health elixirs into shield elixirs. Okay. So yeah, these are the different perks, and they all have like a upgrade or an advantage and a disadvantage. Your attacks ignore enemy shields, but my shield regeneration rate is 50% slower. Increase melee damage, but decrease health. Regular monster drop charge 20% more often. Oh, well, I'll just have that then. Excellent. And 10% of your shield every time you kill something. Which is, you know, super fucking useful. How do I have a damage upgrade, actually? Because if I have a damage upgrade, it'll increase my... one twice frequently. Melee damage, decrease health, but I shouldn't. Your health is converted into shield, and your maximum health is 1. That. I'm gonna have a go with that, because my shield's fucking enormous now. And thank God for that. It does make the whole health elixirs thing fucking moot. I was, yeah, I was down there, wasn't I? Probably a good idea to go. Oh, no. But yes, you can spend these things to corrupt your powers, or you can destroy them. And at the beginning, like, this is something that the game does that I think is simultaneously very cool and a little bit disappointing. And if you'll hold with me while I try and justify that fucking dumb opinion I just said, then I hope I'll be able to explain to you why I feel that way. Okay, and the answer is this. If you have a system wherein you can fight, you can, like, hold on to your humanity, or, like, you can do good or evil. You can hold on to your humanity, or you can discard it, and in the pursuit of power. I don't think it makes sense, then, for discarding, like, this elder power in the pursuit of holding on to your humanity. That shouldn't also reward you. And in this game it does. And while I understand that from a design perspective, I understand that you don't want to have a good option. I understand that if you make one of the routes, like, I understand, like, the concept that if you make one of the if you make two choices in a video game, and one of them has an advantage, one of them is better one of them has a story reason to do but doesn't reward the player, and one of them has a non-story one of them has a mechanical reason to do and rewards the player, then there's going to be one choice made overwhelmingly, like, all of the time. Like, there's not going to be reason to pick remaining human if there's no advantage to remaining human. But I think that's, in many ways, kind of the point, isn't it? Like this is at its core, like, the tagline of this game is, like, resist or embrace. And by throwing away this kind of not demonic, because it's parallel to demons, it's external to the demons. Demons don't fucking enter into this. This is just otherworldly. But if in tapping into this unknown, this fucking beyond our ability to properly understand kind of power, what we're effectively doing is, like, we're giving up something not infallible, but, like, indescribable, some necessary kind of soul piece of ourselves. So I'd be fine if there was, like, a different, like, you could get a better ending through, like, holding on to your humanity and also beating the game, because then it would be more difficult. It would be a natural kind of an emergent difficulty option. But what they've got instead is this system where, oh, do you want a triple jump or do you want to glide? And and one of them is like, oh, you're doing, like, a totally evil, cool, like, giving in to the dark powers that these people, like, while actively wandering around a facility of people who tried to use these dark powers and failed, and now they're all dead or mad. You'd be then using their dark powers, and that should be more attractive than just, like, because it has an ability you want. It should have an ability, if that makes sense. Like some of the resisting, like, because you either use these shards to corrupt an ability, or you destroy them and get given an ability. And if you're throwing away the opportunity to make one of your abilities better, you should throw away the opportunity to make one of your abilities better. Like, I don't feel like that's an exceptional... I don't think that's a very, like, weird thing to expect out of, like, a game like this. You know what I mean? That the choice to throw away a way of making the game easier should, in fact, throw away a reason to make the game easier. Like, and I get that that's not what they're going for. Like, it's obviously, like, a different thing to that. It's not, they're not making the game I wanted it to be. They're making the game they wanted to make. And the game they wanted to make has branching powers, but without there being, like, an obvious best one. And I can definitely, like, understand why. But I just think narratively, it's a bit of a letdown to have this whole system where you've got these kind of different... Oh, no. You've got these kind of different... You've got this whole theme about resisting or embracing, about giving in to, like, what these dark fucking forces... Oh, these not even dark. They're not evil. I think that's something that people really do kind of make a lot of mistakes about with regards to, like, Lovecraftian horror, is that there's not... None of it is evil. None of it is villainous. It's not the devil or demons or demonic or anything like that. It's other. It's worse than that, in a way, because it doesn't care. Like, it's not evil because it's because it's amoral, because it's a universal thing. It's how the universe works, whether you like it or agree with it or not. It's not scientific in a way that we understand it, but it's certainly not, oh no, I'm nearly dead. I need to kill some fucking things. What's quite good about the shield upgrade that I've got at the moment is that because I corrupted my shield, and I don't know what the resist option for corrupting your shield is, but I'm really confident it's not quite as nice as this, because it means that when I take damage, every, like, so many points of damage my shield takes, my shield explodes and does damage to whatever's nearby. And what that means is that, especially combined with the perk I have that means that whenever I kill something I get some shield back, is that every time I take damage of a certain amount, I get a bunch of I do some damage, and that often means I kill something, and that often means I get my shield back. So my shield it heals itself at the expense of my enemies, and I don't even need to be super involved in that process. Oh, you are dead, mate. You are fucking out of this, I'm afraid. Whoop. Yeah. Yeah. So, like, that is obviously a very powerful fucking upgrade that I'm very fond of, but I don't know, it really feels like there should be, I don't know, more difficulty in not putting your trust in a demonic in an a-human voice that whispers darkly to you. Single Valkyrie. These crystal chambers are basically exposition boxes that kind of give you, like, history of the world, and you whack these. You climb them, and there's some crystals that make the colours all weird, and then some kind of otherworldly, godlike intellect tells you about how everything came to be so fucked. I'm really enjoying this. This perk about the whole, from my experience, the plot isn't necessary to your understanding of what's... Well, it's necessary to your understanding, like, how things came to arrive in their current extremely fucked state, but it's not necessary to understanding what to do next, because what to do next is typically find any ability doors that you have access to, go through them, get the abilities, go through the ability locks, which are, like, everything is helpfully kind of marked out on your map for you. Find all the ability locks, go through the ability locks. Don't know why that would be there, or why I would care about it. And then, you know, beat the bosses to get new abilities or to upgrade your abilities, and then go through the game as like a whole. So it's not. It doesn't require a great deal of explanation, but there's, and also that I don't really care about the Valkyries. Like, I think there's this huge subplot about the Valkyries being like, in some way, like the human forces that tried to deal with or exploit or destroy. It's not overwhelmingly clear what they were up to, but they're the people who fucked up before you got here, so you can see how easy, so you can know the consequences of fucking up, basically. Like that's not a new concept in storytelling. Is for your protagonist to be exploring the ruins of someone who thought they knew what they were doing, so you can like appreciate that this character doesn't know what they're doing half as well as they think they do. And that's why I think like giving in, taking these powers should definitely be a bad idea. And like maybe it is, but it should be a bad idea and then be offset by the fact that, you know, you're making yourself powerful, you're making the game easier by doing something that's, ooh, I'm in a boss room. By engaging in some kind of fucking behaviour that's clearly risky and probably unprofitable. I'm going to bypass this boss and then go and open the lock into the main corridor so that I can get back to this boss sooner. Because if there's one thing I've learnt in this game, it's that bosses will fucking murder you, and you want to make sure you've made it easier for yourself to get back to them, because it's super not difficult to just kind of die on your way to a boss and then that be your boss experience, you know what I mean? And then you have to do, you know, a whole section of the game again because you didn't hit that big eyeball just there. And now here these fuckers come. But I do really enjoy how the room 1 kind of stuff is all named sensibly. It's named like humans might name it, and then this is named by something with 3 tongues. It's like, it's a very cool kind of Lovecraftian fucking detail that there's they don't keep giving things names that human beings could pronounce, but also that there are areas with names that human beings could pronounce because human beings clearly named them. It's like a colonial thing. Like, we've colonized the corners, the ends of this mad labyrinth, but we are nowhere near its masters. Fallen Ectairan priest. Oh, hello, dark thing that I hate now. Oh no, okay. Okay, you're quite nasty, aren't you, bud? Oh. I should probably I'm gonna get away from this thing for a little while. Oh, fuck. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna need a better strategy than I heal every time I kill something, because this is going to fucking kill me. There we are. Eat a dick! Missed. Amazing. Oh. You are immortal when you're rolling, so like you just don't take damage while you're in a roll. You can just roll through those, not too much difficulty, which is probably going to be the plan. But this guy's health bar is ridiculous. I'm just going to get some distance and let him do his whole thing while I kind of just hang out over here. Oh. Because obviously, as well, you can't roll forever. Like, you have a number of rolls that you can do, and then you're just fucked a little bit. Which is, you know, useful, because otherwise, because with the invincibility frames that rolls give you, you could just roll forever, and that'd be, you know, a fucking foolproof way to escape any and all situations, and you'd never take damage if you didn't want to. So that's, you know, a good thing, but it also is adding a lot of fucking difficulty to this particular encounter, because I can't take very much damage, and the way that I've been, like, I'm built for a situation that simply is not going to occur while I'm fighting this one man. But there we go. There we go. Like, I've taken some pretty big debuffs to fucking normal shield recovery, and I certainly can't lose my shield, and also normal shield recovery is the only recovery that my shield is going to experience. Alright. Oh, I nearly have him though, and then I'm going to get me a little shard of something, I suspect, and a perk, a cool perk. That's going to be cool. Oh, there we go. Yeah, she prick! I noticed as well, those aren't tentacles, those are masks. So this is some kind of humanoid amalgamate being firing something at me. I don't know what they are meant to be exactly, but he's certainly got an uncomfortably fucking plant-like system going on where he's moving about there. Shield piercer. Okay, so I care about shields even less. Even Faith can't save you. You daffy bastard. Get me a fancy shard. There we go. 3 of those, and I'll be able to corrupt one of my super cool abilities. And then I'll probably do it on the gun, actually. The gun's fucking useful. Because it clears corridors. Like nothing fucking else. Now, a new ability. Just a cool perk. You see what I mean? Like, I didn't need to fight that guy. That guy was not a... That guy is not, like, necessary to reach the end game. He's just a cool little fight that the game is like, yeah, well, you don't have to fight them, but there's a reward for fighting them. And I think that's quite a cool way to introduce mini-bosses. Like, because, like, mini-bosses are, in a lot of games, just bosses. Like, they just stand in between you and the thing that you want, and they're gonna hurt you until you don't want it anymore. Give up. Hey, oh, there's an exit I haven't tried. Righty then. I guess I'll go over there. Alright, so I'll go up for... Huzzah! See, check that out. Oh, I suppose I've also not gone that way. I'll go this way. Through the alcove of grief. I do fucking... like, I like that there's human names for the specific, like, the small zones, but the larger zones are beyond the ken of man. I don't know, I very much like the whole alien, like the... and by alien I mean inhuman, I don't necessarily mean, like, little grey dudes with massive eyes, because that's definitely not what's going on here, but, like, the fucking... some of the monsters are just weird. They're just weird things. Like that weird tentacle door there that fires blasts at you. Like, who is that guy? Who's in there? What's his fucking deal? What's he hoping to get out of this? Like, you know what I mean? What is the cost to my immortal soul of this new ability I have to transform into some kind of black winged creature? Like, now it's getting all tight and claustrophobic, which would put me in fucking trouble if I got attacked, because, you know, most of my combat abilities rely on me not being where things that are bad are happening. And also a lot of these enemies' main combat ability is to leap directly fucking at your face. So, you know, like, as you progress through this game, the fucking geography gets more aggressive. It's nice. I don't know, that's probably my review of this, is that it's a very kind of tightly, well-controlled, like, fluid, pretty little game that, like, has done some stuff that I personally would prefer it not, but by no means am I turning around then and saying that it's a bad game. I just would prefer the choice between whether to resist or embrace be a little bit more meaningful than, do you want the cool... do you want one cool ability, or do you want a second cool ability? Eat every dick in the stall. Oh look, a cool ability. Look. Oh no. I reckon that cool ability is going to be some kind of dash that'll let me bypass those fucking the propulsion engine. Oh, sweet. Press B again while airborne. Oh, so it's like a. Oh yeah, so that's quite useful because it's not just a mobility ability. Why am I saying that? 10 times fast. Oh shit. Okay. No, you still can't go up. But it's like a combat ability too. It's an air roll essentially. It's an air roll that you are. Oh, that's gonna be tight. Nice. It's an air roll that is also a movement ability, and that's quite cool. That's a smart thing to do in fucking Metroidvanias. Is to give the character abilities that are useful, both as like as a way of like moving around the environment, because obviously the main thing about these fucking games is that your abilities need to be useful to move around the environment, but also, you know, that they're useful mechanically in different situations, that you have a reason to care that you've got them. Oh. Timing on that is very tight as well. And there'll be a dark version of air roll as well. If I collect 3 of these shards and then take them to that shrine, I'll get the evil version of air roll, which will probably, I don't know, hurt things I pass through maybe, or go further, or something. It's not super clear what the evil versions of the abilities that you get are going to do. Oh, okay, I'm in some kind of doom chamber. Well, you can fuck off for a start, son. Oh, okay. And there I am, finally ran out of shield. But yeah, that's what Sundered's like. And I like it. This gets a big fucking Hollywood metal thumb. Or a second thumb. 2 thumbs, in fact. Double thumbs. Because, you know, it's fucking nice. Like, the movement is fluid. The art style is pretty. And more importantly than that, it fucking it's well designed. It's thought through. You don't have a lot of abilities, but every single one of them means something. It plays into something. It's there for a reason. Like fucking, and like every time you get a new ability, it unlocks a new section of the upgrade tree as well. So I get more shards now. Incoming damage or increase maximum health. Increases cannon damage, increases melee damage. Oh. And that's just kind of, that's good. It's just tightly designed. There's nothing in here that doesn't feel necessary. None of the the only abilities that you don't need are the abilities that you get for either corrupting or resisting, I guess, the fucking eldritch power, and they're not necessary, but they're all useful. Like there's a triple jump if you resist, and that's, I think, pretty damnably better than the like slow glide thing. But there's like uses for both. It's not. Oh, I didn't know I could do that. You can chain fucking air dashes together, go really far. Yeah, so that's cool. Like, it's a 9 out. It's easily a 9 out of 10. I would prefer the whole, like, it's a preference thing to say that, oh, I prefer it for the choice as to whether to resist or like embrace or resist, to have more than to just be more than choosing between abilities. And I'm sure that it will play into something like later on. But like, I think they've missed a trick by not having it just be, you know, more immediate, maybe. Just like I feel like resisting should feel like a harder game, and it doesn't. And I get that that's their choice, and I get that that's, and I realize that there are some people in this world who exist under the delusion that because I personally don't like something in a game, that means I shouldn't lower its score. But I am only capable of giving my opinion, and my opinion is that would be better. Those people keep complaining, but hopefully not to me, because I just said they were idiots, and I was right to do so. This has been me. This has been me doing a review of a video game on the internet, which, as you all know, is the currency of the gods. So I'm going to see if I can trade that for like a darkly glowing shard, and I'll see you in the future, which is a big place, and I'll probably be... Oh! I forgot, it's been too long. Go away.